Right, watercolor pencils. See what I've got here. Very nice. Right, now then, obviously it's a pencil, so you can use it like a pencil. So you can draw with it, you can make lines with it if you want to. You can shade in with it if you want to. You can make specific shapes with it if you want to. So as a pencil, you can use it as a pencil. So you can just take it, and as if it were just ordinary coloring pencils, you can use them in that way. You can use it for shading and all that kind of thing. You can even mix them. If I put a bit of that in with that, you can see it changes the quality of the purple, makes it more reddy purple than this one was. Can you all see? Right, okay. So that's just working with the pencils as pencils. Obviously, since they're watercolor pencils, and I'm going to use this for a start, if it'll work. Yeah, it'll work. If you have a damp brush, you can go on top of it, and it makes the color come up really strongly. Right? Yes, obviously watercolor paper helps because then it doesn't cockle. If you're using just ordinary paper or even cartridge paper, you can have problems. Although it is a way of using less water because it works if it's damp. You can still get some color off if you want to. And you can pull that paint out with the brush. So obviously, if you want to produce a wash, what you do is on a separate piece of paper, supposing you were, well, you know, like I'm going to do the pheasant. So if I rub up and down so that I've got plenty of color there, and then I'll use a proper brush for this. And you can use your watercolor brushes for this. I can pick up the paint from there onto my brush, twisting the brush like you do in a pan, and put it down here if I want to. Right? So if you want a fairly light wash and you want to cover a lot of ground, that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to color in the area that you are wanting to be a particular color. This is where it gets tedious. I think that's a better way. Actually, the simplest way of doing it is get your watercolors out. Put a watercolor. Or assuming you haven't got watercolors out or available, you're on holiday and you left them at home. Right? Now I can work on top of that and bring the color up so I can get a darker wash if I want to by working on top. And the more you work the water in, the less you get of little lines of pencil strokes showing it, and it turns into a proper wash. So if you're doing small areas and you want to get a really strong color, suppose you want to get a really strong color, well, you can color it in quite strongly and then gradually make it lighter. And then when you paint with the brush, because that's strong, it picks up strongly. You can get the gradation that you want, right? Now, what you can also do, but I never do, is work into a wet wash with one of the pencils. And the reason I don't do it is it alters the lead, for want of a better word, in the pencil. And when you try to use it as a pencil, it goes down differently. Professional artists who use watercolor pencils usually very often have two sets. One they use for wetting dry into wet, and one they use for dry, which they put the wet on afterwards. Right.
So is it permanently changed?
Well, it's a good way down because it soaks into the colour and soaks down the thing. So yes, eventually, if you keep on sharpening, you get back to where you were before. But you've lost a lot of pencil then. Okay, these are Caran d'Ache. Just show that. Yeah, Caran d'Ache, which are a very good make. Yes, very good make indeed. And this set is the landscape set. Landscape assortment, they call it. Sounds like sweets, doesn't it? Because I didn't think I would be doing portraits with pencil. I mean, I have enough trouble doing portraits with anything else, and I wasn't going to start playing it with pencil. Okay, so if we now attend to the pictures, that, by the way, the paper that I was using for this is hot pressed. I don't know how many of you know what hot pressed paper is.
Smoother.
It is smoother, yes. It's smoother because it's pressed hot. The paper which is not pressed hot is very often called not. And it's called not because it's not pressed hot. No, strictly, that is true. That's why it's not. So it's in cold pressed is the other way. And if you get it cold pressed, you get more texture. And if you get it hot pressed, it's very, very smooth. And it works beautifully with watercolor pencils because it gives you nice smooth washes and all that sort of thing. Yes. So they really, yes. And it's all possible ridges are annihilated. It's as smooth as possible. People use it for botanical drawings and that sort of thing. And if you like working small, it's a good paper to have with something like these, or indeed pastel pencils. I've seen some beautiful, delicate work drawing birds using pastel pencils only. And you can get such detail and such control over what you're doing, and you don't get this feeling on your hands. Me, I like the feeling on my hands, and I like using nail brush, but there we are. That's right. So I'm going to do the first bit on the pheasant. I'll use that as my. So this is the pheasant that I'm doing here. He's actually perched on my sunroom. So, yeah, so I thought, hello, fella. I'll take a picture of you. So there he is. Okay. So, and I'm going to use the idea of putting down washes. Where's the other pencil? There we are. Right. So I think what I basically want for that is probably that one. That's what I thought I was having trouble. This is burnt sienna. That's not what they call it. It's got a number, but it's burnt sienna, right? So I'm going to give myself a good scrub of this. You're in fact creating your pad of paint. Like I said, if you've got your watercolors, get your watercolors out and do it that way. Because you can, in fact, use them on top of watercolors. If you do a watercolor and it's a bit of a disaster, and you get your watercolor pencils out, you could sometimes rescue it. So that's, and I think you can get away with not calling that mixed media. I'm a bit prejudiced about mixed media. Can't do it in one medium. Really, pack it in. It is a prejudice, so don't let me put you off. And I have in fact done it under duress. Right, so I'm going to try that now. See how far I can get with my wash. because in this case I am using a proper watercolor paper, albeit a funny one. Pardon? Yes, sorry, yes, beg your pardon. I didn't quite. Well, it's yeah, it's I'm too scaredy cat to do a duck without drawing it first. Of course, this is going to dry so fast, but you can see you can use the whole brush to get the paint. And it saves scrubbing over the whole blinking bird first with a pencil, which would be, well, of course you wouldn't do it that way. So that's given me the basic bird, and I can perhaps take a bit of it more down here. Because it's wet, I can get the gradations in too by using paint. Then if I want to, not quite sure what color that is. Hard to tell, isn't it? I'll make it a dark green if I can find the dark green. Have I got a dark green? Yes, there are a lot of different colors in that. Yeah, no, I'm going to be using, I'll use that. So, because I'm showing you this technique, this is an occasion where you could go in with the pencil on the wet paper, which I'm not going to do. While it's wet. Anything that happens here, I can modify with the pencils afterwards. I'm going to leave the head because it's so very precise. I'm just not going to. So that gives you some idea of that particular technique. So we'll put that away. Put it over there. With the duck. Now this is hot. That's right. Yes, that's right. The duck is on the not paper. This is on this paper. I'm going that way, Rachel. Is that all right? Okay, so this is a little stream with some rocks and stuff in it. It's in Bodnant Gardens if you want to go and take your own picture. There are certain things I'm going to miss out on this picture. Up here, there's a person and a road. And up here is a bridge with a dam underneath it. If I show you the picture. I'm not going to put them in, leaving out the person. There's a person here, and the road, and that part there. I do like that darkness, but I'm not going to have it, that particular thing. Okay. So where am I going to start with this? Well, when you're doing a picture and you've got a bit of time to do what you want to do, or even if you're out sketching, best thing to do is to start where you like, the bit that you like, and grow it out from there. And I quite like this bit here. So I need to sort out which pencils I'm going to use. The purple I liked. And there's a grey. I find myself using colours that I wouldn't use normally. And then there's that green. There's probably a blue in it somewhere, which keep that one around. Okay, leave that for the time being. So I just decide where on the page that is, and it's about here. So I'm just going to go straight in. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to sharpen the pencil. I don't need it immediately, so that can wait. Okay. So I'm going to start with looking against the light. I can't see them, so I'm going to judge by the color on the bottom here. Okay. Right. Right. I think I'll start with that one. And I'm just going to start drawing. It's shining because of the light. So I'm going to start up here. Well, that's a bit more sandy colored, isn't it? Let's try that one. That one. That one. Right, so up here is a sort of sandy shape. I'm just making the shape. So it gets pretty tedious, this, watching it, you know. You just have to get used to it being tedious. Because this is very detailed for me. Very detailed. Other people are better than I am at doing detail. We watch every stroke. You do. So all I'm doing is putting in the shapes that I can see, where I can see them. And I do want it actually more. Where's he gone? Right, so here, got a bit of that coming down here. Just basically putting the color down. Then I'll go into my dark. There's quite a strong dark shape here, which comes down below where I was before. So I'm assessing, like I was showing you all the time, where is this in relation to what I've got? How big is it in relation to what I've done? It's still the same principle, but I'm using mass as far as you can with a pencil. Why I don't like pencils. I've got it in my head, and I really want to dash ahead to show you can show how it's finished, but it just doesn't work that way. Now at this stage, I'm going to make the darks that I can see as dark as I can, so that when I actually put the water on, if I choose to put the water on, because I might not, I might decide, some of these rocks you might want to leave just as the pencil marks because of the sort of texture you can get on a pencil. That's that one, right? This one here. This is really when you've got peace and quiet, and you can just enjoy yourself, laughing away, you know. Of course, if you put it in the wrong place, you can go on top of it. It doesn't matter. It's just like watercolor, really. The harder you put the pencil on, the darker your color that you will get eventually when you come down to it. Right, now then, that comes down there, and there's a little bit here. And I might not put the water on right till the bitter end, or I might decide when I've done a bit, I'll put some water on to see what happens there, you know, how I go. So it's very much a case of, you know, go as you can. Getting a bit bored of that, let's choose a different color. Again, it's something that I do a lot. This is also sort of purple, but it's a different, well, it's more of a purple. You want to try and show the lighter shade while you're working. How are we doing for time, Rachel? Oh. Gosh, release. And this comes out a bit more over here. Yeah, well, you know, I'm so good at drawing. I do like you watching me draw. But I'm mixing the pencils as I go along, putting, you know, different colors on top of each other, different colors. As we go along. So I'm up to there. There's quite a big, there's a little bit of a line there. And then round to here. Right. Where are you in relation to you? You are here. And you are that shape. So it's really good for observation, this. It really makes you look at what you're trying to. I don't know how much of what I'm doing you can see. It's quite therapeutic in a way. I think if I could actually draw, it would be even more therapeutic. Danger of looking for another pencil is you lose where you are.
So, like watercolor, white
You've got to leave the white.
is the thing.
There is a white.
There is a white,
but
don't use.
well, I suppose you can. But Mhm.
is like yours,
Mhm.
like an off-white,
Mhm.
based a creamy kind of colour.
Yes.
Is there a time when you would go for the pure white paint?
Yes, if you want to. Yes. Two Rivers is very white. Very expensive, but it's very white.
Right.
And I have some which are sort of creamy white. This is white-ish. It's a bit creamy, actually.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
Just, when you,
Yes,
you
that's a sort of
create
cream.
this.
Yes. What you do with watercolor is reserve the light. So you don't do the light, you do the shadow. You do everything else except what's light. And that can be problematic. And now I've lost where I am. I'm there. There, and then we'll come here, and there's quite a big dark patch there. Oh, that's green, you stupid woman. It's not something quick. This.
You put every blade of grass in?
Well, you can, if you want to. You can. This is the beauty of it. You see, when I have worked on, done that, I can work on top with a pencil, and I can put as much detail as I want on that. I chose that technique for that one, for the pheasant, because there's a lot of quite delicate work on the plumage, where little marks and lines, and you can really build them this way. It can be dead boring watching me paint this, because it's twiddling around the pencil, doing little things, and losing your place. And then there's a big one here. Comes down there. Yes, dear. No question is stupid. Yeah.
And then you've got a lot of detail in that. You can use
Yes.
those
Yes.
pencils.
Yes, to put your detail in. Depending on, whether you like to go that way or you prefer to breeze on with watercolor pencils. You can look at this and say, what on earth has she done? Well, she's not done very much, actually. Oh, that's nice. 9 minutes. Right. Yeah. On screen. That's the one. I was going to sharpen that one. I don't know if you'll be able to see anything out of this. I'm beginning to hurry. I've got to stop if I'm going to hurry. But that is what I managed to do in a quarter of an hour. Right. So if I show you the picture.
Will you put water on that?
Yes, but not now.
Not now.
Not now. Not till I've done more. Yes. 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 Water will mix. Smudge. Just smudge. It's not like it's. I don't think you can actually move it with your finger. No, you can't. It doesn't. Pardon? Pardon? Just that bit. That's all I've managed to do there. That bit there. I got down as far as here and started there. Right. So I can see the waterfall. I don't. Yeah. Those bits of green actually helped. Yes. 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 One to two. Yes. And when I come to do this, when I come to do this, I will use that technique. And then I can work on top of it to show the little drag down reflection and a bit of pink in here. So mix and match as you're going along. I'll let you get on with your own. Enjoy it. And use whichever you like, whichever technique you like. Oh, one thing, sorry. I forgot to mention these. These are also watercolor things. They are a sort of waxy crayon. And they color beautifully too. So you can work with them. And Rachel's done quite a lot of work with them when she takes them out with her when she's sketching, because they're very useful when you're sketching. Because you can, I want a green, any old green will do it. You've only got 6 or 7 colors, so you just.
Are they wax crayons?
They're a sort of waxy thing. Again, they're Caran d'Ache. They're called Neocolor Aquarelle. So, but yeah. So it's a bit like so the coloring is crude, but it's enough if you're just sketching. It's quicker than the pencils. Yes, it's quicker than the pencils. And I think there is quite a wide variety of color. I didn't think I'd go mad. You can probably work. Yes, you can work into wet if you want to, and then go back and wet it. I made the mistake of doing a whole picture with it, and it was too much. Rachel tends to just indicate where, she's got her drawing and she just indicates where the color is and leaves it at that. So she doesn't cover the whole tree in green or whatever that you were doing. Yes, but she doesn't do it on the sketch. If she uses the sketch afterward, it's a way of taking color notes when you're sketching, which make it very, very handy. Right, voila.